Hi, in the episode number 14, we are going to continue our conversation, our discussion with Gwenaelle Dauphin about investigation and lab network on the Gumboro control. Enjoy! So even if the science can looks like a little bit far from the poultry industry or for the poultry production in the farms, in this kind of studies that we are conducting, and of course all the team are conducting, we really get close the reality and really improving the control of the disease, improve the performance of the production, right?
Yeah, actually, if you just look at the SSIU, which was established in China 2 years ago, we started just with 3 very clear assays. We certified them for that, and the field samples started coming to the SSIU lab, and actually we can really see that we were able to have better vaccine take. So in some cases we were seeing that the vaccine take was not good, so people went back to hatcheries and checked that everything was they were troubleshooting those vaccination processes in those hatcheries. We were also able to compare the vaccine take performances with competitor vaccines, and we really saw that in China the introduction of this new service, local service, really boosted the vaccines in this country. In addition, we can see that from the studies that we run, so for both swine and poultry, we have very precise questions sometimes. So is my vaccine as efficacious as another one, or what's the mechanism of what's the, for example, duration of immunity? So we really answer questions that are needed for to our customers, and it helps us really deploy the vaccines more efficiently.
Moving to the lab network that was mentioned from you, can you describe a little bit what was the objective of that? What we are aiming to create this network?
So actually this network was launched this year in February. And we have 2 objectives. The first one is really to standardize the PCR work, which is carried out by all these labs. So we have 14 partner labs and the 3 SSIU labs. So we have 17 members, and we want to make sure that those 17 labs perform these PCR vaccine take assay in a very standardized way. So we have proposed some protocols. We have proposed the chemistry, PCR chemistry that it should be used. If the labs want to make any change to those protocols, they have to show us that it doesn't change the results. So all these labs have gone through a certification process for that and have succeeded in running different, in testing different samples of known status. So that was the first, that's the main scope. The second scope is actually to foster collaborations among these labs, because we have some key opinion leaders in some of those labs, key opinion leaders in specific diseases or in specific techniques. So we want these labs to be able to interact with each other, and we also gain a lot of knowledge by interacting with those labs. And actually some of those labs are private service labs, others are public labs, university or veterinary institutes, and some of those labs are specialized in poultry diseases or animal diseases. Some are specialized on fish diseases, especially and food safety, and others are public health labs. So this is a very nice mix. There's a good diversity that will enable all these labs to exchange and interact.
So you mentioned 17 different labs around the world in this network. Can you disclose to us where they are located?
Yeah, so these labs are located in Hungary. In Hungary, we have another lab in addition to our SSIU. In Spain, in France, in Italy, in Tunisia, in United Arab Emirates, in Turkey, in Malaysia, in South Africa, and in Brazil and Ecuador. So there's the first field of activities, of missions for our SSIUs, which is more related to innovation. and science in general. So we need to innovate in new vaccine platforms, and we do this together with R&D, of course. We also need to innovate on new diagnostic assays, and we actually have a dedicated team located in the US and led by Scott Callison, who works on next generation sequencing and how this technology can help us being even more accurate in diagnostic results. And we also provide scientific knowledge to our teams, technical teams, and also to customers when needed, or participation to conferences and scientific production in general. And so for this, we have two scientific directors, one dedicated to poultry, Christophe Casabon, and one dedicated to swine vaccines and products with Hans Smits.
Gwenaelle, it was really nice to see how the science support and all these investigations are connected with the poultry industry, how they contribute to the disease control, and of course for the poultry performance as well. And to close our conversation, I would like to ask you what kind of advice you would give to a vet when the topic is controlling Gumboro disease.
Actually, regarding Gumboro disease, the last months we've seen some undetected infections. I mean, we saw that we were suspecting some infections, or we were checking the vaccine take and could not detect any virus from the bursa. So by exploring a bit more, we realized that there are some atypical strains circulating in those on some farms in several countries, and we actually received the information both from our SSIU labs and also from our partner labs and local teams, who were saying that they were finding some bursa which remained negative, which did not make any sense biologically. So by exploring a bit more with several of these labs, running some discussions, we realized that the assays, the Ceva assay and also the OAE assay, at least those ones were missing some of the viruses. So we have actually sequenced some of the field viruses that are circulating, and we have decided to develop a new PCR method that will be more sensitive and will detect more broadly, universally, the IBDV viruses. So based on this experience, I would suggest the vets to never completely trust lab results, because the labs constantly need to be challenged and checked, and also the PCR assays constantly need to be controlled. So really to put a lot of criticism somehow in the interpretation of results.
First of all, thanks a lot to accept our invitation and to share your knowledge, your experience with us, with all the poultry industry. And thank you for watching us, and I really hope that you enjoy this sharing of experience today, and keep in touch with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Marco.
Thank you for watching this episode, and do not hesitate to give us your feedback by commenting down below in the comment section. Goodbye, stay safe.